Hello and welcome to another episode of the Lions Den podcast. Come on, guys! It's great to see all of your faces. I know you guys have been wanting us back, so we're all back.
Especially
Finally.
Javier in crystal clear, high definition.
Why'd you gotta put me on the spot, man?
HD.
Because
We're
we
all in
love
HD.
you, and we appreciate when you were our only caller when we were on last time.
I was watching you guys on my phone. I'm like, I gotta do something.
That was awesome. I was like, oh my god, guys, we gotta call. Hey, is this the line? And I didn't recognize your voice because it was so deep. And you're like, is this the Lions Den podcast?
I was pretty different. I don't know why I was sounding different back then. I don't know. I was probably just. I don't even know why my voice changes sometimes, but it does. I think it's my mood or something. But yeah, of course, I called in because I'm like, I got to do something because I tried connecting with my cousin's computer, and yeah, laggy internet and audio problems. But thankfully, my friend Mariana let me borrow her Mac laptop, so that's why Louis is making fun. You can finally hear me and see me clearly. Anyway, we're back.
No, I'm not making fun. I'm stoked to see you in such in 4K quality that Apple devices provide us. We are not sponsored by Apple, but I am 100% manzanero. So,
Yeah,
I got no problem.
I like Apple too. Come on, sponsor us.
Okay. Anyways,
Yeah.
we are here another. It's not Monday because we had Monday off, but Tuesday night, Taco Tuesday. Louis, I bet you had some tacos on Taco.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Tuesday.
You know it.
What kind?
Taco Tuesday.
Just ground
Talking
beef.
about
Whatever I have here in the house. I can't go out and get them. So
True. The real deal. Yeah, true.
yeah.
It is
The
what it
new
is.
reality.
Yeah.
That is true. But we have lots to talk about. Obviously, the big news, the cancellation of Clausura 2020, which we'll definitely get into regarding how Leon stands at the moment. I know Jose brought the attention about a lot of our players, kind of what that looks like, who we're going to hold on to, who's going to leave, contracts, all that stuff getting sorted out. Obviously, the whole topic about Joel Campbell, if we're going to purchase him or not. We also will talk about the chaos surrounding Morelia and then Mazatlan, Delfines, what's going on there. Very, very sad. We're also going to talk about the promotion regulation aspect that has been a lot of back and forth, especially in the last couple of days regarding FIFA's interception and that. But also, guys, let's just smile. We actually have football back in some part of the world, which is in Alemania, Bundesliga.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about that?
I'm gonna get my German passport.
Let's go watch some Bundesliga.
If only I had a team. I don't really have a team.
I don't have a team either.
So it's hard to
me either.
really get into it.
Maybe Leverkusen because they have
I think like the only one is Dortmund.
relationship with Club Leon.
And I can't just choose a team I don't have some sort of connection, feel some sort of real connection to. That's just not how I'm wired.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I agree. I don't like to force like a team that I want to go for just because it's a league that I don't have a team there. And I think I'll probably just say Leverkusen because that's kind of where Tita played. And I think they also have a lion. They share a lion as a mascot. And I know Club Leon and redes sociales are always like, hey, what's up, dude? I don't know. I think it will be Leverkusen, but I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. I just want to see football. I've been watching the Korean baseball, whatever's on TV, like it's just
man, anything.
It's one of these weird things where like I understand people now like that are into those sports. It's just it's any sport. It's good right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the emotional respite that it gives us being able to see it makes it. I don't know if I would go so far as to call it an essential activity, but man, it does feel different to have to deal with a world situation like this when you have something like that to look forward to.
Yeah. So
I mean, I think in that sense, it almost is essential. Well, I mean, for folks like us who live and breathe it, of course, it's easier to have that opinion. But
of course,
I don't know. I mean, I heard that you know, the NBA and their Disney World plan.
Mm.
It's crazy in a way, but also like I'm. How can I not be all for it?
Yeah.
I hope I hope there's a way to make that happen. You know?
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. It's actually I kind of respect that because it's kind of these people actually looking for solutions in a way, at least in the creative way where everything's gonna be in one place, all the games, and I don't know. I think every country is different. I do think Mexico took the best decision, right? Because we're in a country where we don't have the same kind of we're not Germany. You know, I don't want to compare countries, but I can see how they're actually how they got back to La Bundesliga, and because I think they can actually have the money to do all these tests. Something that I heard that all the teams and I know Bravos was like, we're not going to pay for these tests. So I think I don't want to just say that out there, but I think a lot of teams wouldn't have the money to do it. So I think it's best.
Also,
Yeah,
not just the infrastructure, but the willingness of the people to behave. You know, they were afraid that when they started the Bundesliga matches up, I remember them saying that they were afraid people would just crowd outside the stadiums and try to find a way to get in, but it really wasn't an issue. Like people stayed in their homes. They didn't try to do that. I don't think that
it wouldn't work here, man.
It would not work here. It just wouldn't work here. People don't understand, and they don't. I mean, I don't want to call them bad names. I don't want to criticize anybody, but it's just like what we're experiencing down here isn't really a quarantine. It's not a real quarantine. For it to be a quarantine, they'd have to be willing to literally arrest and jail people who are outside and don't have any reason to be. And that's just never going to happen. What it is that, you know, they're suggesting that people voluntarily stay inside their homes, and most people just aren't doing that.
Yeah, it's like a 50-50. I see 50% of the people are like, they're over it, and the other percent is kind of like, no, understand, we need to stay inside. So it's
now it's, you know, so bad. Like, well, if I haven't gotten sick to this point, I never will. Well, you know,
because they're opening up. They're opening up a lot of like restaurants. Here in Leon, you know,
in Leon, the city of Leon was stupid. I'm sorry. We love the team that is based there, but the city acted in a very, very stupid way. But I mean, it's also the fault of people who are willing to go out and crowd those places. I mean, it's the fault of many, but it's not an agreeable turn of events in any way you look at it.
I'm just positive though, because I do see countries like Spain and Italy, especially Spain, right? How they're gonna return to, and they were hit really hard, and so is, you know, in the United States. I'm not gonna compare numbers, you know, that's kind of dumb, but I do think that in the end, I think the best way to kind of get over this whole situation, people are gonna do what they want to do anyway. So I think the best way is just take the good with the bad. Just kind of do you do what you think is best for your situation. I don't got no reason to be outside, you know, other than probably go buy leche, which Louis sometimes says, "Don't buy leche, brothers. Leche can wait," and that's true. Leche can wait. But it's like right there.
I was just ribbing
like
you,
right
bro.
at the corner. No, yeah, but I know, dude.
The benefit of living in Mexico, you got the leche in the corner. You don't have to go to the.
I don't have to go to the supermarket. And the best part is, people that know, I live like 2 minutes away from San Juan de Dios, which is like this part, and they have the best pan in the city, I think, and that's what I like to eat, and nothing's gonna stop me. Okay, no, but it's true though. I think the best way is kind of looking forward and looking for solutions, especially to get back to work for many people. I think June in Mexico is going to be an important month. I think a lot of industries are going to go back to working, whatnot. I just hope for the best. I just hope that you know, it can get to a situation where like it happened in Italy and Spain, where at a moment in time we thought they were, you know, never going to get out of their situation. And I think
you know, it's not the first pandemic that the world has suffered through, nor is it the worst or the deadliest. It's just the first one we've had to live through in our lifetimes.
In the social media era,
in the social media era, which exacerbates everything to an exponential degree. But no, I firmly believe it'll pass. It's just going to take the time that it needs to, and we're such an impatient generation. that it's that it's really hard for us.
Yeah.
But no, in terms of the Liga, I mean, I'm sad. I wanted this tournament to be finished just because, you know, Conca Champions notwithstanding, we were doing so well. I think we had a real chance to make noise in the Liga, you know, and
I know.
but I'm not gonna argue with any decision, you know, with the way the world is. It's you look like a real
Douchebag.
we're not supposed to swear on this program, but you look like a real unreasonable person if you are if you're against a decision to cancel something like that, given the way the world is right now.
Yeah.
My thing is, I what was to stop them from? Okay, an indefinite suspension is fine, but how about when they come back, instead of starting fresh, they finish the calendar first, and even if they have to start the next tournament, like in a weird month, slowly but surely they can get back to a conventional calendar. I just really would have liked to see this season finish, even no matter how long it would take of waiting for it to start up again. Just finish it before they start the next one. But I guess, I don't know, for a number of reasons they didn't see that as reasonable.
Yeah, I mean, even in the moment when they were going to cancel it, and I saw like it was going to go up for they had all these propositions what they wanted to do. I heard at some point that they wanted to play all the games like in somewhere away from Mexico City. I think it was in El Bajío, like Querétaro, Aguascalientes, San Luis.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were trying to do. But I think another reason why they wanted, I think some, not everybody, but some big players, directivos wanted to cancel the tournament was because of things like what's going on in Morelia. You know, they wanted to get that, like, what's the word? They wanted to get that out of the way before, because, you know, what if the transaction would have happened? There's no way they were going to be able to restart the league unless we just change Morelia and put Mazatlan, and there's other things they're trying to do, I mean, right?
Lots of stuff for play to have been suspended. Lots of other extracurricular things have happened during this period where, you know, the elimination of Pro Rel, as we get to later, but that and the elimination of the Ascenso completely and the formation of a completely new league. All of this has happened when there have been no Liga MX matches going on. Yes, it is a lot of details to sort out, to have to be able to sort out while also trying to play
very convenient
league games. I get that. No, I'm not. I think it's fine to cancel it. I'm just saying whenever they do think that they can play again,
it could have been handled differently. I think.
Well, whenever they think, they can play again, finish this tournament before starting another one. So, what would be the next apertura? Whenever they think of whatever they think of as the date to start the next apertura, have that be the jornada 11. Of the tournament that they haven't finished. That's all I'm saying. I understand why there's a need for a suspension.
It could have been handled. I agree. It could have been handled differently. I think I was watching Central Fox, not to plug in Fox Sports, but I'm just trying to say that
they also do not sponsor us. Yeah,
they do not sponsor us. But the people that were on there all had their. Of course, 3 of them were like, it was the best thing possible. You know, primero el deportista, which is true, and health and everything. But other people like Brailovsky was saying, like, no, I think they shouldn't have canceled. They could have continued. But then I like Iago de la Torre's response. He was pretty much saying that he felt that it could have been handled differently since the decision was made to postpone the 11th week, in the sense that they kind of just waited until it was too late to even make a decision. And maybe even from that moment, they were like, you know what, it's going to be something it's going to be like a 2 or 3 months, 4 months suspension. Why not think about La Liguilla or something, like right off the bat, the teams that are like in the top 8 play a Liguilla, or just play the remainder of the games, like Louis was saying, and just don't have a Liguilla, and then the top team wins it, kind of how it's supposed to be in every league in the world. But I just felt that they weren't even trying to look for a solution. They just already had in their head just perfect for many reasons. I think for them, economically, I think, and I think that's what we're seeing right now. That's why La Liga de Ascenso disappeared. Deportivamente, there's no reason for that to happen, but maybe economically they saw it as a reason for, right? Because I heard they've been trying to do this for 2 years, and they saw this opportunity to say, you know what, let's just destroy the Liga de Ascenso, no? And the other part was, of course, things like what's going on with Morelia, where they don't really care about the team, the history, which I never had a problem with Morelia, maybe prior to that game where...
Let's talk about we'll move on to Morelia in a sec.
Okay,
while we'll talk about just right now, Clausura being canceled. You guys have brought out good points, how, you know, there could have been different options of how to play. Obviously, Germany kind of set the tone. I mean, part of that, obviously, they had pressure from las televisoras, kind of like there's no activity, you know, getting paid and all that stuff. So they were definitely pressured to come up with something in order for their games to continue. So obviously, in the incoming days, we saw Santos test their players, and 8 of their players came out positive. So even when that note came out, you guys all automatically thought, oh, well, we're never gonna see this. Like, when are we gonna see the end of this? Which they tested again, and 4 more people came out positive. Chivas also tested. And I saw a tweet, someone else was testing today. Another team was testing today. But obviously, you know, it's a hard situation, and I think we saw it coming. But I don't know how to feel about it. It's pretty sad. Obviously, you know, we were in second place. We were on a good run, even though despite what happened in Champions, I think we still had a really good momentum and kind of seeing what could have been.
They were really starting to band together after that massive failure. The last few matches, I mean, they were really starting to look good, and it all culminated. I mean, I told you guys after the Juarez match, just the vibe around the team. Since I was on the same flight back with them, I mean, everybody there was a positive vibe around the entire club that felt far-reaching, you know.
Yeah.
And then it just got completely cut off. And even if they do keep the team together, if they keep the base, if they, you know, conservar la base, like they always say, even if they do this, I don't know how there's any way that a layoff like this won't completely affect the momentum they were on.
Yeah, that definitely is.
It would affect it even if they started tomorrow, let alone in 3 or 4 months.
Yeah.
I think the biggest loser here that everyone feels sorry for is Cruz Azul.
Right? I felt the vibe what you were going to say. Like, I agree.
It's like, you guys really think, you know, it's kind of like, isn't that so, like, the bad luck, right? They were in first place, and I don't know where Corona comes in. And shout out to my friend Eddie, but they kind of gives Monterrey a kind of restart, you know, button to their really bad.
Eddie, don't worry, Eddie. We're never going to remember this. This never happened. It's like a bad dream. Monterrey was never in last place. They welcome coronavirus. Really, I think it's good for Monterrey because
they were going to pretend the Clausura 2020 never existed.
Never
anyway.
happened. Yeah.
Never point. Technically, they're right. Technically, it never happened.
Yeah, that's the question. So you know how like okay, so it was, what was it? Cruz Azul, León,
Santos,
Monterrey, and who else?
Santos and America were 3 and 4. Yeah.
Yeah, last place was Monterrey, and I think Atlas.
Like the ones that qualified to the
Conca Champions
2021 CCO.
Oh,
like now
yes. America and Monterrey for finalistas in the last tournament. And
so
that's why. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the criteria is the 2 finalists in each tournament in each liguilla. But obviously, with no liguilla, they had to find another way to have a qualification.
Which it wouldn't make sense if they were gonna just already say, okay, Cruz Azul and León, they go to Coca Champions. Why not let them play una final? Just to settle like that. That would have just been.
That would have been great. That would have been so much fun to beat them. Yeah. It really would have been.
I would have loved that too.
That would make sense. It would have been more fair.
That would have been more fair because I don't think it was fair to say that Cruz Azul was the best team. León was only 1 point down, and there was games where they should have won, like against Santos, I think. León really should have had more points. But if that's the case,
and they hadn't even played each other. They hadn't even played each other yet.
Yeah, they were gonna play. They were like 3 weeks away.
So,
from playing.
Yeah.
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 Let me just quickly go through some of the comments. In good company, I don't know why his comment doesn't. It comes up on my phone, but not on the screen, so I can't share it.
Long time.
But shout out to In Good Company. He said, "I've been rooting
we did.
for Diriangen in the Nicaraguan First Division since Liga MX was suspended."
Yeah.
Now that's some,
La Nicaragua.
that's some either devotion or desperation right there. I'm not sure.
It's
But my
like
respect,
me watching Korean baseball.
mis respetos,
Right.
mis respetos. You know?
Yeah. Anything
Our-
is good right now.
Our other viewer, who's also a good supporter of MacPack, said, "Assuming that next season will be open doors, how do you guys think the public will react at the start of the new season? Will people even show up for the games?"
I don't think they're gonna open the doors right away.
No, I think
yeah, I think it's gonna be
they're gonna take precautionary
no
measures.
public games.
Any sport, right? In any sport, not just
any sport.
And when
any
they
sport.
do, when they do open the doors, they probably won't sell tickets for the entire stadiums.
Yeah,
it'll probably be like like
It's
every other section, every other seat. So like maybe only not even half of a capacity will be allowed to attend, and even then, I don't know. Like I'll bet there will be a lot of hesitation from fans to show up right away. I mean,
I'll be there.
I'll be there day one.
Yeah,
right.
I'll be there day one. But
that's
what I mean. Like,
I'd rather. No, I'm not.
I don't know. Like, if it was somewhere else, I think there would be hesitation. But if we're talking about like Mexico, I don't know. I think there's not gonna be hesitation at all.
I think every estadio is gonna be filled in Mexico.
Well,
about other places,
except for Puebla.
Like,
that never happened.
Shade.
They never had fans anyway.
And then we have Soy del Verde said, "So guys, Milton." I don't know if he's saying hi.
Shout out.
Shout out. Oh, shout out, guys. I just got that. So late.
Shout out.
I'm so late.
Shout out. What up,
Shout
Milton?
out to Milton. And then we have Raul Guerrero. They need better delantero and better defense with more confidence.
Leon.
Yeah, Ramos hasn't filled up.
Ramos out.
Yeah,
that's a good. I mean,
and Barreiro, but we need a better CV, a better central defender, and we don't need Barreiro there. We need Mosquera there.
There's two things that are happening, right? There's two things that are happening.
Guys, when does Mosquera come back?
He's.
I'm very sure he's ready with all.
I think
he was scheduled to be ready in May.
Dude, I'd rather have Mosquera on one leg than Barreiro.
Yeah.
I mean, if the layoff is good for anything, it's getting players back from injury. That's for sure. Remember, Navarro in the last game that we played in closed doors went out with a kind of serious looking injury, and so it's nice to it's nice for that reason, if nothing else.
Yeah, definitely. And then In Good Company gave us another comment. I don't know why it's not popping up on my computer, but he said, "What are your thoughts on the people set to protest the Liga de Desarrollo by using the P chant at matches?"
What's the P chant? What is that?
Well,
I haven't heard.
Can you write it down and then Kari can? No, I think it's. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, it's not going to change.
I didn't hear about that. Is he talking about in Liga MX matches?
No, la Liga de Desarrollo. The new ascenso.
In Liga de Desarrollo matches.
Yeah.
No, but I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
do they apply the same rule there?
No, I think what he's talking about is that to use it in Liga MX matches to protest the Liga de Desarrollo.
Well,
maybe
use that.
I'm against the use of that chant in any way. That chant cost us in advancing out of cuartos and lost in the last tournament.
That's true.
That's why Morelia. You know, now that I think about it, karma, Morelia.
No.
Karma. Yes, the universe was like, you know what you got to Leon? That was not cool.
Oh, Javier's just hiding how upset he is that he has to travel farther to see Shaggy Martinez now. Yeah.
Actually, I have family in Mazatlan. Actually, I'm not even mad about that.
There you go.
My mom's side of the family is from Mazatlan, so I'm like, hey, I don't really.
And you'll get.
But you're still gonna feel Shaggy. You're gonna feel Shaggy a lot farther away. He's gonna be farther from.
Is Shaggy going to Mazatlan? Is he really going to?
Well, I mean, they're moving the team. Everyone.
Well, sure, maybe you can come to Leon, closer to
So,
Louis. Because
so I've been thinking, so since everyone's going over there, what if secretly they do bad and they sell Aldo Rocha to Leon back again?
Oh, Rocha.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah.
What about
I would
that?
like Rocha back. Well, these are all these questions I wanted to ask you guys. Because another one is Sosa, Ismael Sosa. Is he going to stay or is he going to go back to Pachuca? And I heard something about Sambuesa coming for him.
Yeah.
I don't think he wants to come though. So
Isn't Sambuesa set to go back to America?
he wants to retire in America. That's what he's been saying publicly for a while.
Oh, man, he's still so good.
I know.
Give us one good tournament, like come with us.
I hated how good he still was until he gave us age 34, 35, whatever. He gave us that great tournament, and he's still playing well for Pachuca. He's like Chapo. He's like Chapo. He's got one of those skill sets that doesn't expire.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so strange for an attacking player to be that effective at that age, but he still is. I would welcome him back. I don't think I agree with you. I don't think he wants to play for us anymore, but I'd welcome him back.
Yeah. He's very much respected. That's one of the things that that I always see in, like, even in Twitter, where you can't even find respect that easily, but people just say that he's one of the best extranjeros that's come to Mexico in the last couple of years. I think they're mostly Pumas and America fans, but I agree. I think what he did for us, and I think the way Leon plays, we kind of do need a player like him in that position, which is why it's interesting, the whole Ismael Sosa for Sambuesa. But I like Sosa, and I like how he loves the city and how he wants to be a part of this team. I can just tell, and that's another thing. Campbell, is he going to stay or is he going to leave? Because I know there's, I think Jose, you said that two players have to leave, extranjeros, right?
Yeah, because there's going to be a reducción to
Barreiro.
Yeah, so instead of being right now, before this, you were allowed to have 12 foreign players.
Mm-hmm.
So now, starting the Apertura 2020 and Clausura 2021, both tournaments, now you have to have 11 extranjeros per team, and then per match, you can convocar up to, what was it, 8? Was it 8? Yeah, I believe it was. I gotta check, but I believe, because right now, before this, it was 12 and 9, right? Correct?
I'm not sure.
You could have 12 and then you can convocar up to 9 per game.
I know it was 12, but I don't know how many you could, because they 2 years ago.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, let me check. Oh, anyway, since it's gonna go down. Right now we have 13 with Mosquera.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to get rid of 2 to have 11 and meet the requirement. Yep, there you go. First one.
One is Barreiro, right? I think we all can agree. But could that happen? He just came to the team.
I think unfortunately the club would be more inclined to stay with him than, let's say, Ramiro.
I know they're gonna
younger.
Sell him. Yeah,
because he's younger. He's younger, and Ambrí seems to like him more.
Why Ambrí?
I think I think you might be right, but for me, it's wishful thinking that please just get rid of him.
Or maybe they won't get rid of any.
But
defender.
I mean, if
just
he
get rid
stays,
of
I wouldn't be
Ramos
surprised
and
because for some reason the club backs it up. Yeah, I could see that happening too. Because Ramos hasn't, like, he has been struggling with injuries too, but he hasn't managed to fill up those shoes either.
Because then also, what about Nico Sosa? We haven't really seen anything like him.
So you're not gonna just let him go.
But Nick Giller, we know he's bad, really, really, by bad I mean good. Jugando videojuegos, but is he going to do the same? Like who knows?
They can't get rid of him. He's far too valuable in the E League.
Yeah, especially right now. I mean, they still have yet to see what he can bring. I really doubt they're gonna. unless they loan him out for like a really good and keep Ramos. But if it was up to me, I think we need to let go of Barreiro and Ramos.
Ramos. I think so too. Keep both Sosas and Campbell. But
We have to keep Campbell.
What about Cardona?
Well, it's like the same thing. We haven't seen much, so it's kind of like, should we really just get rid of him without actually seeing him and give him a couple games?
Look, I think a lot is gonna have to do with not so much which players are good or which players we like, but where do we have Mexicanos? Which positions do we have Mexicanos that can fill in best? You know, that's going to have more to do with anything. Like traditionally, the players that have come up through our academies that have been good have been contenciones. You know, defensive midfielders, and that seems to be our best position to develop. And now we have guys like Armando Leon who could be very good that are strikers. You know, so it might have a lot more to do with positions that are more easily covered by the academy than which are the actual best players. Like I would love to keep Pedro Aquino.
Yes.
But if we have Mexicanos coming up through the academies that are perfectly serviceable contenciones, I mean, we could see him gone just because there are other options there more than in other positions.
If Pedro Aquino leaves, he has to leave out of Mexico. He can't stay in Mexico and be within the team because that will be like that.
Well, I think none of the good players of Leon should do that. I think Mena, Meneses, and Aquino, if they were ever going to sell these players, it shouldn't be in Mexico. I think that's the mindset that you're right, Kari, that La Directiva should have. And Jesus Martinez Murguia already said that he was gonna trust in lo que viene siendo the youth teams. I think he said that because of the whole situation economically, that they actually don't have another choice. They have to really start supporting these young players. Maybe not selling them like they did to, I think Rocha is a good example. You know, I think he would have stayed longer with Leon. He would have been even a better player and probably sold them for more money if you're planning to sell these players eventually. But I do think that's going to be especially because we know they keep saying that to build this new stadium, they're going to really have to save money. So unfortunately, that just feels that's going to be the Leon of the next couple of years.
The only thing that even with Rocha, like they did get rid of him, but I think it was mostly because the coach didn't like him.
Who was it, Torrente? Or was it?
It was Torrente,
right?
For Luis Fernando Tena, he was
regular.
I think it was Tena.
No. It was Torrente when they fired Tena and Torrente came in. He had no interest in Aldo Rocha.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of players too, like that have shown, like going back to what's his name, Castañeda or the other guy, Castañeda, and what's the other guy, Aldo. He went to Costa Rica. I think Magaña. Yeah,
he's
these are
players now, isn't
he? He was the last time I remember.
There was something weird about him.
Really
he was announced in Puebla, but I think he ended up staying in Costa Rica. But he was actually announced. You're right. But what I'm saying is, like, I think we've had this conversation before about how me personally, I wouldn't mind if Leon had more canteranos playing, you know, in the primer equipo, especially if they're from Leon. I think that kind of adds to the whole identity. Yeah, that I think will be a reality now that, you know, I don't think they're going to continue to buy players the way they used to, especially with this whole economic situation. And I think if they're going to get rid of two players, I think Luis is right. They're probably going to get rid of the older players, you know.
I wouldn't mind if Leon went that way, like that route, to, you know, like depend on their academy, and then years go to like a certain level, and then when they're and get rid of him to kind of like solve Vince economically. I think that's like a good model to go to, because that way
that's a perfect example.
Get money to buy other better players.
Yeah, like it's like for instance,
it hasn't happened, but
it's like you're right. I think that is the best way because you look at examples like JJ Macías, how he came to León, and now he's actually worth that money that they're trying to sell him in Chivas. But it's because he had the opportunity to play with a good team that were kind of making him look really good because you had Meneses and you had Mena, you know, and you had Chapo Montes giving you these amazing passes. Of course, también JJ Macías, he's a good player, but I think if we give the same opportunity to León, the youngster, and he starts to, you know, make a name for himself, then eventually people are going to say, oh, how much does he cost? And then León can just start selling these players. If that's the route they want to take, why not? It's worked out for America, what they've done with Jimenez, even players that I don't think were even that good to be being sold to Europe, like Linus. But still, you can't get mad at them, though, because they're doing what's right. You know, they're actually – it's kind of what Hugo Sanchez always says about los jugadores extranjeros that come to Mexico. He's like he's always mad because, like, man, why is it always, you know, an Argentino, Brasileño that we see them and then we rave about them. But if a Mexican makes the same kind of goals, they don't have the same rave or the same. And it's kind of just how I feel what he says at the end is true. They just know how to sell themselves better. And that's kind of true. I think hopefully León does take that route. So, you know, they don't, because I always feel they always buy a lot of players from Sudamerica who just come and they don't do anything. We can count them. There's been dozens.
Most of them, well, not most of them, but some of them are kind of mediocre, and obviously they're more cheaper to buy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the case of that. But we'll see what happens with Apertura when a date is given, what protocol they're going to put in to place to see what that looks like. And I guess we'll see in the next upcoming week what León does, anybody leaving, coming and going. But we're going to move on to now. We're going to talk about Morelia. Spent a lot of time talking about just the beginning, but MacPack gave us another comment. He said the real loser in this Morelia fiasco is my boy Scooby, R.I.P.
No, MacPack. Scooby's gonna love the beach. Don't worry.
Yeah,
What dog doesn't love the beach?
Yeah, wherever Shaggy goes, Scooby's gonna go. So Scooby's gonna be okay. I think Shaggy's gonna be better off in Las Playas de Mazatlan. I think. Who knows? I like the stadium so far. What I've seen, I don't know, man. I think it's unfair, really, to see a team disappear like that because they do have somewhat of a tradition. You know, they
have a lot of history.
Yeah,
like it's many years of history.
It's a mediocre history, but they've spent 40 straight years in Primera. I mean, they are referente in the league, whether or not it's translated into success and trophies.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been around. You know, that those 10 years that León was not in Primera, Morelia was. You know,
they actually did step up.
Yeah,
they had a pretty good team.
It was during those years.
They got rid of Pablo Guede, which is like
the first step into what is happening.
Like what's
going on? Yeah. Well, you know, Grupo Salinas, I think they've been trying to do this for a while. I think it's no secret that when they sold Atlas to Grupo Orlegui, that their real kind of ambition was to kind of leave the football Mexicano. They didn't want to have any more teams that they wanted to own. I think they just saw too much. But I don't understand it, though, because they did invest a lot of money in Morelia for years. So just to sell a team like that, but you know, I have a friend who was from Morelia, and he was of course heartbroken, but he was saying that maybe this is the best kind of thing that could happen in the sense that if they go back to La Liga de Desarrollo, and somehow or another, someone other than Grupo Salinas owns the team or whatever, they can start from scratch. And
you know, in the last, I think it was this morning. I think I saw. I didn't really check, but like what the article said, but I saw the headline. I think it said something about someone else besides whoever's in, I think it was the governor from Mazatlan. I think there was someone in Morelia that wanted to buy the team to prevent the team to go to Mazatlan, and that's I believe I heard that today. So
I saw that headline as well.
But I think it's already said and done, right? I think even if that guy really wants,
I don't know. But what I think is, no matter what happens, whether it's in La Liga de Desarrollo, whether it's in La Liga de Balompié, the new league
Mhm.
that they're starting up that has nothing to do with FMF. I think there will be football in Estadio Morelos. I think there will be a team in Morelia, no matter what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe not maybe not a Liga MX club, but I think, and maybe not for right away, but there will be a team.
There will be a team
there.
Yeah, because there's
eventually.
such a huge fan base. Like, there's no way you're not gonna like completely take away. Even if it's not Morelia, there has to be some.
They have a fan base and not a great stadium, but a perfectly suitable stadium to use. I mean,
especially for second division or for Liga de Desarrollo.
Yeah, it's
I
far
think
from the best, but it's perfectly acceptable. And for me, I've been to 5 matches there. It's a city, a city. It's a futbolera city. Like there's a lot of football fans there, and a lot of years of tradition. They should have a team. But Mazatlan came with an offer they couldn't refuse, and from the looks of their stadium, I don't know if they're going to have a fan base. That's that's the biggest question. Are there people there who are gonna support that home team? I think it'll be a nice destination for all the visiting teams and their fans. Like, hey, let's do a double dip and take some beach vacation and also see our team play. I mean, I think it'll be great for that.
Yeah.
But whether the home team or not actually has fans remains to be seen.
So you think it's gonna be like when Atlante moved to Cancun?
Yeah, exactly.
No, because that stadium, that stadium in Cancun is awful. It's like not even.
I know, but
people,
you know what I mean.
People were going because they wanted to go to Cancun. Yeah.
Well,
I think it might be like that. Yeah. I think people will go for that.
It's devastating how this is happening. I feel like obviously you see how the business aspect takes over the passion of football, and that's what breaks my heart. It's obviously, I can have the 100% hate futbolísticamente on Morelia because of what they've, versus León and all that stuff, which that would put aside, but for the fan base to have like a team being moved so far away, it's like taking their heart and stabbing it. It's like, oh, you're not gonna have football anymore. You're not gonna be able to go to the stadium.
And it's happened so many times in the football mexicano, which is ridiculous.
It's what makes me mad, though. It's like you see, Mazatlán has a perfect. It's a beautiful stadium. No one's had to say anything against it. But why can't they start from scratch? It's like they're cheating. It's like, oh, let's just take this team that's already has all the players and stuff, and it's like that scene from SpongeBob. Like Patrick, like let's just move it to the other side. That's basically what they're doing. Like, why can't they be unique? And regardless of La Liga de Desarrollo, start fresh.
You're right. These points, for instance, like where you're pointing out, a lot of teams, especially in second division, had a problem with the disappearance of La Liga de Ascenso. So they actually did go to La TAS, and they actually, formally, what they want is kind of like for someone like FIFA as an authority to step in and kind of say, hey, everything you guys are doing, that's why last I heard, I don't know who from FIFA was kind of just telling La Federación Mexicana, letting them know, like, hey, you know what? First of all, what you guys are doing, a lot of the things we don't approve of, which is kind of funny.
It's Yon de Luisa. He was saying, like, obviously we'll talk about that in a sec, but regarding Morelia, it's kind of like you can't enforce a passion to a city. Like, why can't you just be unique and grow that passion and have a team and work your way up? But then you run into the situation, which is we'll talk about. They make it so hard for a team para ascender a la primera. It's like, you have to do this, you have to do that. It's so complicated. So I guess that's why we're kind of seeing just the backlash of it. Seeing stuff like this now.
León is like one of the few teams that luckily didn't go through that pressure. But yeah, every team that ever goes to first division, it's like it's made for them to go back to second division, which is one of those things where it's kind of like that's what mainly the structure of La Liga Mexicana. That's the big thing, right? Like, is it for economic reasons, the way you're structuring your tournament, or for deportivamente? Is it that the people that are going to first division, is it because they actually won that merit, or is it because they're just going to pay their way to first division the way pretty much Veracruz did it when they descendieron, but they paid some kind of money. Lobos WAP couldn't pay that money, so they disappeared and became I forgot what team they became. Same thing happened at one point with Jaguares, and I think it's one of those things where I only see this happen in La Liga Mexicana, which is
well. Here's the thing: they want it both ways. They want to preserve this traditional way that it's always been for lower teams to come up and be part of Primera, but they also want to follow the model of leagues like MLS, which doesn't have any pro or rel. So the way that it's so for up there, it's perfectly normal for teams to just be true, honest to goodness expansion teams starting from scratch, like they should do in Mazatlan, but they don't want to do. So their way of sort of doing it the second way, but still maintaining the illusion of the first way, means they have to take away a team that's already somewhere else in Primera and make it so that market doesn't have their team anymore. I just don't see the point in it. Have a real expansion team. It's basically what you're doing anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it that way, and then Morelia doesn't have to lose their team. It's really unfortunate.
It's something that Grupo Salina has been kind of just wanting to do for a while, and I think.
But then you kind of don't you see the rumors of like, oh, is Olerji behind it? Like, what a coincidence! All this happening, and like obviously the Atlas Salinas, kind of giving Atlas away, and kind of like now it's Morelia. It's kind of like a little in the making. Like, I don't want to rule it out, but it's kind of obvious. I see during this pandemic, in regards to what's happening with football, we kind of seeing the true colors of the team owners and presidents, and
Oh, we definitely see the drama. We see. I think it's been more than 3 years in the making. I think ever since the deal that went sour, where Grupo Orlegui kind of went behind Grupo Pachuca's back and went to go tell Grupo Salinas, hey, this is what's going on, and look at this fine print, and we're good. And that's why ever since then, I do see like there's been a rupture. And I think what happened here is pretty much, I don't know. I think Grupo Orlegui, or what Iraragorri now means for La Liga Mexicana, I think he's the guy who's pulling all the strings. I really do.
Just the business guy, just the business aspect. There's no sentimental attachment to the football in this. You know what I mean? It's very disappointing.
Just way too many, way too many grupos that are owning teams. As far as I'm concerned, it's just too many grupos. What it means when you see so many grupos owning teams is that it's just an asset for them. It's just a business asset. And it's nothing to do with no identity with the city or the fans, and the fans who are, we're talking about all this because we are fans and we don't matter to any of them.
We don't, and we should be the ones that kind of like should be more outspoken. I think periodistas do their job, in terms of saying, hey, why are you doing this? Where's the benefit deportivo? Because I'm always in awe of leagues like the NBA or the NFL, because what they do, if you actually like kind of look at that, they make it so it's always possible for there to be for the league to be as competitive as possible, because the last team gets the first draft pick or whatever. And it's kind of, that doesn't happen here. It's the opposite, And for instance, for many years, there was the whole draft, but it really wasn't a draft. It was just kind of like, hey, by the way, tomorrow you're going to go to this team, and didn't even have a say in it. And it was kind of this that only happened in Mexico.
Javier. But before we praise the U.S. leagues too much, they are not averse to moving teams, cities, and making teams disappear, and having expansion teams, and taking teams away from cities that have loved them for years. Just look at your Raiders. Look at your Raiders, man. They're about to leave Oakland for Las Vegas. I mean,
and that's better. It's better because Al Davis could never get us a stadium. There was no way that Oakland was never going to be able to build a new stadium. So what the Al Davis family did was, all right, look, I'm a big Raider fan. I love Al Davis, but when he would go to the drafts, he would only pick the fastest guy. I think his idea of football had stayed in the 60s or 70s. And I think what they're doing with the new stadium in Vegas is good. I'm a Raider fan no matter where they go. But that's not the same.
Because you're not from Oakland. You're not from Oakland. You don't have any connection. You don't feel any connection to the team because of the city that they're from. Think about all the Oakland people. Yeah, it doesn't matter for you.
No, that doesn't matter.
Think about all the people in Oakland.
You're not from Leon either, but you go for Leon.
No, but I live close to the team.
Okay, but you're not. So.
Okay, guys, we're getting really
let him go.
If I was to go to Oakland and live, then I
pull the brakes. No,
let him go. Ding, ding, ding.
I think we're mistaking this whole thing. I think this happens because it has to happen, because if we're going to continue to think that this is always it's about sportsmanship first, it's not about that. It's economic reasons. The Raiders had to leave Oakland because there's no way they could stay. The reason why Chargers left San Diego, it happens all the time. I think it sucks for Morelia what they're going through, but it's not like it was out of nowhere. Grupo Salinas has been saying for many times that they didn't want to do anything no more with soccer. That's why they got rid of Atlas, went to Grupo Orlegui. So that's happening. You know, it's one of those things where it's not going to disappear. The team is not. It's going to happen like many other teams that they kind of just go to third or second division, whatever the divisions are nowadays, because now it's Grupo de Desarrollo, not de Ascenso. But I do believe that they're going to be, I think, in a better economic situation because they're not going to have Grupo Salinas, the pressure of them. They can start from scratch. They can be like a Celaya or any other team that I think will do good in de Desarrollo. Now, Mazatlan being this new kind of team, I think it's going to be good, maybe, for the expansion, you know, to have a team in Sinaloa. I think that's kind of what they're trying to do. Look, there's nothing we could really do about it, you know, like unless FIFA just comes in and be like, hey, you can't continue to have multipropiedad, which they already said that can't happen. So what's going to happen to León if the day that Grupo Pachuca has to get rid of a team? You know, it's one of those things that happen, bro. I'm not saying that's a good thing that's happening, but yeah, you're right. The Raiders leaving Oakland had to happen. They couldn't stay in that city, and no, I think
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that put yourself in the shoes of the people who.
I do.
There's a million reasons to decide to associate yourself with a team. In your case, with the Raiders, you love their culture. You saw a bunch of their fans in. I think you told me the story. You saw a bunch of their fans. I don't remember where.
Super Bowl.
It wasn't in
versus the Raiders.
It wasn't in Oakland. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was in San Diego. And you fell in love with their culture, and so for that reason, you'll be with them no matter where they play. It's not really about where they play.
It's like LA.
But for a lot of people,
they go for the Raiders too.
But for a lot of people, like in my case, with every one of my teams, that geographical connection is what first ties me to a team. So a lot of people are going to be absolutely devastated because they associate the team with where they're from, and that's why they love their team, and they're going to feel absolutely devastated. I know if the Portland Trail Blazers or León or the Portland Timber, any one of these teams that I feel so close to because of this geographical connection were moved, even if it were the best business decision, I would feel absolutely just devastated, man.
Yeah, devastated. And I never said that. I don't feel.
I could give an example.
Live in Oakland. Go ahead.
See, like I could give an example what Louis is saying. Like back, I forget which owner, but back in our dark years when León almost got sold.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what happened. All the people in León were protesting outside of the stadium to the owner. So that's one of the other things that Louis was talking about, because the people that are living in León, they identify with León. So it doesn't really matter if it's better economically for the team. It's just because of the history of the team. So sometimes that plays to and I can understand where Louis is coming from in that sense. But also what you're saying, from a business point of view, it's better for them because they're going to be better off economically. But I think like from a fan point of view, I'm not I would hate it if my team were to move to another city because it's better economically.
Yeah, I never ever said that. There's no heartbreak in this.
Well,
right.
Think about Oklahoma City and the Seattle Supersonics.
Yeah, that's another example I was going to mention.
Seattle's a much better market than Oklahoma City, I think, in my opinion.
Yes, it is.
So, why?
I can speak from experience.
Yeah, yeah. So, that doesn't make sense at all.
And this doesn't make sense because Mazatlan is not really a soccer city. You know what I mean?
No,
why can't they just make their own team? Why do they have to get someone?
Actually,
I don't want to see, I don't want to defend them, but I think one difference is between Mexico and if we want to compare between a similar case like how they do it here in MLS, but here instead of getting rid of a team completely, they actually create a new franchise. But the reason why they can do that here is because the economic pool is there. Here, not a lot of empresarios are willing to create a whole new brand a whole new team because they're like, oh, it takes too much money. Why would I do that?
Propiedad exists in Mexico.
Yeah,
That's exactly. Which is why it's been defended before in Mexico, because there is no inversionistas in Mexico. That, I mean, look what Grupo Carso, they were like, hey, we want to come in the football mexicano. We want to own part of Pachuca and León, but eventually they're like, you know what? I don't see how I'm going to make money, because it's always going to be a business. Louis is right. All these grupos, at the end of the day, is going to make this whole thing. This is why La Liga is now structured the way it is. This is why there's no ascenso or descenso. Why is that? Is it because they feel it's better deportivamente, or because they feel, okay, this way we can stop having teams going up and down, having to start all over? They're just going to be more stable teams. Because I do think, and this is Iraragorri's brain, this is his baby, right? What he wants to do in 2026, which is unite Liga MX and the MLS. That's what he wants to do. You know, and many people are actually out there saying, hey, that's not a bad idea. If it's going to happen,
I'm going to protest. I'm going to go protest that.
A full-on merger would be terrible. For the teams to get more opportunities to play each other in like special circumstances, I'm okay with that. But a full-on merger of the two leagues would be terrible. I don't know how they're going to manage to have all these teams in one league. I don't know if they think this is going to be the response for maybe Mexico being at a full like MLS kind of a league, but deportivamente, Mexico's gonna suffer a lot, and I think we're already gonna see that with not having the pressure of having teams play for not to descender, not to be relegated. I think that kind of takes away a lot.
Yeah, like I think already they already took the pressure when they put the percentage el porcentaje para descender. Like it shouldn't be percentage. It shouldn't be just like you lost, you go down. Like that's how it should be, but like
which is BS, because when they started doing that, León had just had 2 bad seasons. All through the 90s, they had all right seasons, and then once they started doing the super regulation, the percentages, León they were already at the bottom, and 2002 descendieron. But you're right, it should be. And you know, a lot of these things are copying from other places. That's another thing that I'm like. You know, they really think it's gonna work, and I think Mexico, the way they had it, I think even in the late 90s was perfect. Maybe not the golden goal part, but everything else is perfect. You know, the censo, they had like between 18 teams, and I think in 2002 they had 20. But I think that's what they want to do. I heard they want to have a league of 24 teams. You know, which is why it's crazy, because you're hearing the whole Morelia going to Mazatlan.
They can't even. Dude, they can't even have 20 teams. How are they gonna do 24 teams? Like, give me a break.
Have 6 good teams, and I mean, Liga de Ascenso, it was like a team of 10 or 12, but only 4 could ascend. And I don't know. It takes away. I don't know. Like, it's a difficult situation, really.
Yeah, like how we're saying, like there's very little people that are willing to invest in teams. Who is going to invest in those? What is it, like 6 more teams? Like no one's gonna do it.
In that sense, they could take an example out of the baseball league, the Liga Mexicana de Baseball here. That league exists because of investors. Unlike the Liga MX, the baseball league wouldn't. The Bravos de León exist because the chairman of Potosinos, Paqueteria, invested a whole bunch of money in that team and brought them back. Like that's the only reason they exist. And every team in the league has a story similar to that. It's a niche market. It's not anywhere near as popular. They don't have TV deals. They don't have anything, but it exists and it stays afloat because of private investors. Now, the Liga MX is a whole completely different ballgame, literally and figuratively. It's not going to be able to function the same way, but they could take a page out of the book of the people who invested in baseball, because that's the only reason. Well, that and AMLO loving baseball. Those are the 2 reasons that it exists in Mexico, you know, at anything close to professional level.
I don't know. I think we're all at loss at this point. I feel we all have been very expressive and emotional.
And it can happen to any team. That's another thing. It can happen to any team.
Yeah, I think at heart when we, as fans of a provincial team, yes, a big provincial team with a lot of history, and we know, like, at heart, well, thank God it wasn't our team, but it could be our team one day. And what would we do if it were our team? We'd feel extremely devastated. it almost was our team once, and it could be again.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it makes everybody feel really, really uneasy. But just the reason I got so passionate about that one theme is because I think about Morelia, and unlike America, Chivas, Puma, these super marketable teams, nobody chooses Monarcas except for our friend Brian. Shout out to Brian. But nobody who isn't from Morelia just chooses Monarcas as their team. Just nobody does that. So the big fan base of this team is in that city. So I'm just thinking about a lot of sad people. I'm thinking about a lot of sad people all in one place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was a video of the man crying. Like, that is so heartbreaking. Like, I would feel the exact same. It would just, I would literally go protest, because I get it, guys. I get it. It's business. It's just sad that that's just what it's becoming more and more.
Yeah.
It's not just like trying to hold on to what you have. It's kind of just like, I don't know. They just don't see the fans. The fans make it possible for a team to grow, a team to do well. Obviously, right now with what's happening, all these stadiums, they have the fake noise of the fans. But I think in a way, it kind of helps the players kind of be more humble, because obviously we see when the players get off their like headphones, get all concentrated. You have the fans, the kids screaming at them, and sometimes they don't even look at the kid. And you kind of tend like, oh, like, aren't they supposed to be more like humble and down to earth? Like, there's such like stuck ups and all that. So I feel like with what's going on right now, it's hitting the players a little bit with their ego. But I mean, I got so distracted with that. Anyways, point is,
they should put cardboard cutouts of people in the stands and jury rig them to move. You guys have seen Home Alone, right? You know, in Home Alone when he has the cardboard cutouts moving to make it look like there's a party going on.
Yeah,
they could do something like that in the stadiums and have fake bands. I don't, it wouldn't be that hard.
Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about. Obviously, we kind of touched on the pro and the the pro and the rel, and about Joe de Luisa, how Javiera said, suggesting that Mexico needs to keep that, and that about the multipropiedad, which I don't know. I feel like hopefully it has an effect on the pro and the rel, but not the multipropiedad, because that kind of already includes us in it, even though we are a well-rounded, well-run grupo compared to the other. But I don't know how that would work out.
Least of all evils, definitely.
It's the least of all
teams. In terms of the teams owned by grupos, now I feel like
Caliente and Orlegui are.
Yeah, I feel like we've made grupo into a bad word now, but it kind of is.
That's why we're having this situation.
I mean,
it's a grupo that said, you know what, I don't want this team no more, and they can decide whenever, and when the multipropiedad thing happens, if it's really going to happen, because they've been saying, oh, in the next 3 years we'll make a decision about that, and then the next 3, eventually I think Grupo Pachuca will have to have a decision about that, because if everybody else sells their teams, and I think that's what I heard Jesus Martinez say, like, hey, I would only sell Leon if I see Grupo Salinas do it, which they already did. They don't have any more teams. If Caliente, Orlegui, they do the same thing, then they would be forced to do the same thing. That makes me think, what's going to happen to Leon? Who's going to buy Leon?
I'll be kind of worried.
Maybe Morelia buys Leon or something.
No,
because from what I heard, like, people are like in Alice and Leon, like there's no one that's willing to invest in the team. So I don't know if someone from Leon would buy the team. We gotta get in contact with Carlos again.
Or we can just pull a page out of the Club de Cuervos, and all of us invest and all of us own and make decisions for the team.
And
so why don't we
become the Green Bay?
Why don't we?
I was going to say,
Green Bay Packers.
I was going to say, Louis, how does the Green Bay Packers? How do they? It's the same thing, right? The owners or the fans.
I mean, we got the same colors. I'm fine with being the Green Bay Packers of Liga MX. I grew up supporting the Green Bay Packers.
Brett Favre?
Brett Favre played for them. Yeah, Brett Favre. Brett Favre's my boy.
I saw Brett Favre. Yeah, he's my one of my best friends have a Brett Favre backpack. I'm like, why? And it was, you didn't see what happened last night? Like 90-yard passes.
Yeah.
That's what I remember about Brett Favre.
In keeping with Cari's policy of no swearing on this show, I think we can't say grupo anymore. I think grupo is now a bad word. So
That's
we
a
can't
that's a
say,
bad word.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can't,
You're so grupo. All right.
we can't say grupo anymore.
In good company comments, I think the K League was actually using cardboard cutouts of the fans.
See, I knew I wasn't
Really?
smart enough. I wasn't smart enough to have been the first one to think of it. Yeah.
Whenever
Yeah.
in good company
Well,
rice was, I really feel like
I
it's,
think that
Wasn't there
they
a
were
league
doing
out
it
there
in the
that
Bundesliga too, right?
Yeah, it was Saturday's game. They had like they were really weird though. What they had on
wasn't there a league out there using blow up dolls?
Yes,
There
I
you
think
go.
that. Yeah,
What?
I think it was
What kind
sex
of blow-up
dolls
dolls?
or something like
Yeah,
that.
sex
On the
dolls.
stands, yeah.
come on. Probably America.
Oh, and then yeah, Good Company said FC Seoul was fined for using sex dolls in the stands. There you go.
There you go.
He also
I really,
Okay.
whenever he comments, I really feel like it's Vincent Company, like talking to us, like watching the show.
right. He's like,
I
this
just
is
feel like it.
here.
Yeah,
like,
the face. Like, damn, dude.
Meston.
Like, damn, dude.
Dude, you were away for so long.
I know we miss a Good Company.
I miss Chaco Loco because he was
We
like
need
the
to,
guy I
we
knew
need to
from
hit him
San Luis.
up and see what's he up to nowadays.
Yeah.
Also, in Good Company said any word on where Vangioni is headed to? Not
Leon.
that I know
We'll take
of.
him. We'll
No.
take him. Yeah, no problem. He's more
Leo.
than welcome.
Well, if we take him, we gotta take an extranjero out though.
Oh, he
Barreiro.
can he can take
Barreiro.
Barreiro's place. No problem. I'm fine with that. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
There we
There's
go. Problem solved.
solution.
No, you have to talk to your Rayados people for updates on Vangioni.
Yeah, talk to Eddie. Eddie knows.
Eddie said no one talked to me today about that. I think he's very devastated that Vangioni is leaving.
Oh,
So
Oh,
shout out to Eddie.
That's a good player, though. Is he
Well,
gonna?
hey,
I feel like he was. I don't know. We don't need to talk much about him or Rayados, but I feel like the matches I saw, he was never in the starting lineup. I think he was a little underappreciated there.
Very underappreciated. I think that's what
Or
happened.
maybe I mean they just have too many players. Like this extranjero thing is really going to affect teams like them. Like they're going to have to really cut down. They're going to have to really cut down on.
I just remember
on
that
their
that
numbers.
golazo he made at the Club World Cup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Was it against
Oh,
Liverpool?
yeah.
No. Was it against Liverpool?
No, I think it was against Al Ali or Al
Okay.
Al Hilal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Le pegó desde lejos, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good player.
Golazo.
Appreciated. Well, guys, as of 4 minutes ago, Marcelo Barbero is baja de Monterrey. So
Ooh,
Sada coming.
Retired
Yeah.
or
No, that was
Uh,
rumor.
He's gonna go back
No,
to
I
the
think
cup.
He was gonna.
Go River.
He was gonna go out.
Too old for River.
Mm.
Where's he
There
going?
was I think it was Barovero, Banjoni, and someone else. There was 3 players that they were gonna get rid of. That I heard.
Oh, but no word
So
where they're gonna.
the first big bajas of the new rule look probably coming into place.
yeah.
It's gonna
I don't.
affect
It might
teams
not
like
have
Tigres.
every. It might not.
Oh,
every
yeah,
agree
yeah.
With that. Yeah.
Actually, you're right because I think I heard like from the football de Stufa that they were gonna get what's his name from Chivas
Chicote.
Who?
Chicote.
Yeah. Well, that
Why are you doing that?
Cristian Calderon. He's one of my favorite players. It's just sucks that he's
he
in
was
You
Chivas.
were all happy about it though. I was like,
He was on Necaxa before.
Because I was
before
looking at it
Chivas,
right now.
Yeah.
Like,
well him and they were gonna get so it's
Chapo Montes.
Jose Rodriguez and
No,
who's
Montes is going to Juarez. Everybody knows that.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't like him over there.
who's the
They're mad because he made a goal against.
no, there you go. It's so they're getting rid of Barovero and then they're thinking of getting Gudiño from Chivas.
I thought they were gonna get Hugo Gonzalez.
That would work too.
From
Well,
Necaxa.
he's already on their books. Hugo is a Monterrey player. He's on loan with Necaxa.
So he's going back.
So that would make sense. Yeah,
If
that
they're-
would make sense.
And then there's no money spent.
Yeah.
So,
And then Monterrey wants Cristian Calderon, Chicote. Then there's FC Juarez is looking to actually acquire Diego Roland, which obviously he when he got to Mexico, it was rumored that he was going to go with America. And big surprise, he went to Juarez. Very good player.
And they
why can't they all
they're one firma away from taking Chapo Montes. It's a done deal, guys. I'm sure.
No.
No.
He's gonna retire.
No, we need him.
He's gonna retire with the team that he has absolutely no connection to. But it makes perfect sense. Yeah.
and I hate him because they scored against Indians.
In a city that hates him. Yeah.
And he's from that city. No, Chapo, stay in León.
Yeah. And then
but Barreiro, he can go to Juarez.
Yeah, Barreiro. If Juarez wants Barreiro, they can have him, that's for sure. Yeah.
Have it.
Give us Roland.
Se lo damos en paquetería. Express.
And then Leonardo Fernandez, he would end his loan with Toluca and come back to Tigres, which is kind of frustrating, but there you go. That's kind of the power Tigres has.
You could see it coming as soon as he had one string of good games with Toluca.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as he had a string of games with Toluca, Tigres was going to want him back. That's just
yeah. That's just how they roll with all their loaned out 1,000 players.
Plus, that dude, the guy's 20 years old, so they can get a lot of money for a 20-year-old having that good of season too.
Oh yeah, very young. And obviously we've said Paulo Guede left, but now he's optioned to be
Atlas, right?
Yeah.
Atlas. That would be who has Atlas right now?
No one.
Someone insignificant, I think. Because I can't remember.
You mean the coach or what are you talking about?
Yeah, who's coaching Atlas?
Puente, what's his name?
Yeah, it's Rafa Puente.
It's not Rafa
Puente. Rafael Puente.
Yeah. Terrible.
Because he was been terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Remember,
that's why I said no one.
He's making fun of periodistas, and then it was like he got in trouble. And then I was kind of like, what happened to him? I think if the tournament would have progressed, he probably would have been out because he was like in second to last.
Oh yeah.
Right?
He was like this.
Yeah.
Close to getting nuts.
Or just even Atlas as a whole, if the season would have continued.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently Club Atlético Mineiro is interested in Eduardo Vargas. But yeah, lots of good.
From Brazil?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought for whatever reason Mineros de Zacatecas.
No.
Where's he going? Yeah. I was like, the Brazilian team. Okay.
Yeah. And then apparently Necaxa is interested in Ankeloba from Monterrey, which would be really good. Obviously, we know how Necaxa has really good eye on players. So, but yeah, shout out to MX Draft. If you guys want to know about any rumors, follow at MX Draft. They have they're really accurate most of the time. I want to say like a 95%. Shooting high, but it's true. So follow them for any other potential what's it called? Transfers, loans, whatever you gotta know. Yes. Anything else, guys, before we go?
Oh, Joel Campbell. We didn't talk about Joel Campbell.
Oh, yeah.
Joel Campbell, Jose, what's gonna happen? You talk to Martinez. Don't act like you don't, bro.
Yeah, I wish, but I think honestly what's gonna happen, we're not gonna have money to buy this.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Don't.
You're supposed to be the good news.
Yes, you're supposed to.
I think what's gonna happen is just like Louis was saying in the chat that we're gonna have to choose between Sosa and Joel Campbell. We either pay Joel Campbell's buying cost and his wages, or keep Sosa. So I think we're gonna have to choose. That's just
what do you prefer?
I like Campbell.
I like Campbell.
He's younger. Yeah.
And then Sosa for Sambuesa?
And we keep Sambuesa.
Yeah, that would work.
Hey, Martinez, listening, bro. Like that could work. Or have both. You can keep both. I think Cooperacha, Louis has
No,
as
I also said in the chat, I think keeping Campbell would be a huge sign shown by the Directiva of how committed to winning they are with this group. But that even with that commitment, just these unforeseen circumstances, unprecedented, unforeseen circumstances in this economic crisis. I mean, I think we got to be realistic. it was going to be tough to keep Joel Campbell and Ismael Sosa anyway. And Ismael Sosa is, I'm going to say it one more time, even though it's a bad word, he's part of the grupo. He's part of the grupo, so it's easier to.
Something else.
It's going to be a lot easier to keep him. It's a lot more practical and a lot easier to keep him than it will be Campbell. Campbell.
Wait, isn't Sosa on loan from Tigres?
No.
He's on loan from Machuca.
I thought he was on loan at Pachuca from Tigres, and then we just.
No, I believe.
I think Pachuca bought him.
Pachuca acquired him.
He's on
really?
Pachuca's books, yeah.
And then I think he played one season with them. It didn't really work out, and then it was loaned to them. I think that's what happened.
Gotcha.
That was the reason why it was like because I feel like if it would been Tigres, they would never loan us Sosa. Like that's why it worked out.
Yeah,
they're not in the business of loaning.
Yeah.
But
he went in. He was in Pachuca. It didn't go well for him in his one season, so they sent him over here. And I remember when he scored in his first match with Leon against Pachuca. That's where his ear celebration started.
Yes,
because he put his ears up as if to say like, "How do you like me now?" Like
how you like me now?
Yeah.
Well, I think Sosa,
what?
How you like me now? I think Sosa. Okay, guys. Yeah, cálmense. I think
You're gonna have a recording session for like your jingles or your like,
Yeah.
so you can just.
Especially that we can't have prediction time anymore because there's no predictions to make. There's no predictions to make for. It won't be for a very long time.
Or are you gonna play illegaments?
Yeah.
Prediction
time for Liga
MX. Well, I don't know. Hopefully, at least we can win that. That'd be great. I think Nick.
Guys,
you didn't even talk about Nick.
I find it so surprising and mind blowing that he had the same streak that we had with the 12 victorias, and he also had 12 victorias until the streak ended with Nico Sosa.
Was it victorias? Didn't he have one tie? I think he had a tie.
Yeah, he had one tie with Chivas.
Well, sorry. I didn't mean victorias. I meant like unbeaten run, I guess.
Yeah, unbeaten streak. Yeah.
Why doesn't Chivas just disappear like no, I'm playing.
Oh my god.
Chivas. I think
Sueño, yeah.
I like how Chivas is becoming like Leon's because they're asking me on Twitter the other day, like, what do you think is the biggest, and what do you guys think is the biggest rivalry that Leon has right now in Primera División? Because we don't have Irapuato or Unión de Curtidores. Those are rivalries from the past. I think since Leon has come back in first division, I do think, especially Chivas, because they beat us when we had the 12 consecutive wins. I think Chivas is the team that
they beat us at home in the Copa final, and they've beaten us in key moments when we needed wins. That's for sure.
Don't remind me, Louis. Don't remind me. I'm stupid either.
Yeah.
So I would put Chivas, man, and I think that because also the closeness of Guadalajara and León, I think that's there's a lot.
I agree with that, and also
here, all the taqueros are from Jalisco here in León. And
it's really close. And every time we play there, every time we play in Estadio Akron, there's a bigger contingent of fans that travel. Like the last couple times, there've been a ton of fans there.
There's a bunch of people from Jalisco. I'm telling you, Jose, you don't believe me. There's a lot of people from Jalisco here in León.
Yeah.
They all sell tacos. I go and they're like, arriba las Chivas. I'm like, no, bro, you're not.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to buy a taco from you. What happened, Jose?
So there's another player that's going to be there's actually, because I think Ezequiel Sosa put like 6 players that are going to be out of contract. I just got to like look through the list, but one of those other players is going to be the legend, Corazón de León, Nacho Gonzalez. So
yes.
Really?
I mean, he's either going to resign for another year with León or he's going to retire. I mean, there's no reason for him to go to any other club.
Yeah, why would he go to any other team yet? Just retire. Yeah. 6 more months, sign a 6-month contract and retire in December.
Yeah, take a veteran's minimum.
Yeah.
But honestly, I still think he can play. I still think he's got something in the tank. He has not looked bad. He hasn't looked bad the last few times he's been in the starting lineup.
Just like you were saying, Louis. Like I rather him than
Barreiro.
Yeah.
But do you really, Jose, in your heart of hearts, do you not like? I'm not playing. I was gonna try to convince you to say I love Barreiro more than Nacho. No, I think Barreiro should be number one to leave.
Barreiro is much more of an iconic player for the club than Nacho is. I mean, I don't think there's any.
Dude, I remember.
There's any argument about
no.
It's legendary.
Oh, by the way, regarding the Liga MX, they're gonna. So from what I saw today, so Copa MX is gonna be suspended for 2 years, I believe. And
we weren't gonna be in it anyway. That's
2 years or 2021.
Yeah.
Just
2 years. 2 years. 2 years.
So 2022?
No, I thought it was just
no.
So the 2021 Cup, right?
I probably starting like since Apertura, so come from the Apertura.
Yeah, because Apertura 2020.
So the next Copa that would start in the next Apertura will not happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
So the one 2021, 2022, that's gonna happen.
Yes. 2021, 2022 will happen.
Will happen. It's just the one. This one. All right. And there's and I think there was already a final that was scheduled, right? Monterrey versus.
They're still planning to play that final.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous if they postpone. If they just it's already a final. Just play like in October. I don't know.
Then regarding the thing that they were gonna say, like they were gonna like keep ascenso to teams. When was that after? Was it after like 3 or 4 years? Did you saw?
Well, they keep changing it though, because now they said it's only gonna last 2 years. Lo de no ascender. That they're gonna have these teams in first division, but
was it 2 years or was it 4?
The first they said 6 years. They said till 2026, and then last I heard on ESPN when they were talking about the whole Morelia situation, one of the guys on there said, "Well, maybe this is a good opportunity for Morelia to start from scratch in second division, and in 2 years come back." Yeah, and they're saying because they're changing it to 2 years, just to ascender though. Not to ascender. There will be no.
Yeah. There's no descenso. There's just ascenso. So I believe, because that was on the link that I sent you guys today. They were like, what's this? Bonilla was talking on like Fox. It was like to the end. Yeah, and then he was saying, I believe, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was after 4 years. He said that there's gonna be things that they were gonna ascender, and that's where he said that it might get to 24
teams.
So but that's after 4 years. Like after 4 years, and teams will.
But do you think,
get promoted?
For instance, Apertura 2020 is it going to be with 18 teams or 20? Because then there's also the rumors of Celaya and Atlante. That Atlante is going to come back to Mexico City or something like that.
Yeah.
That they want to have
I don't know. I don't know. Like, but Liga MX can do then possible.
With Morelia, of course, that they can do what they want. But I think what they're trying to do is have 20 teams, and then I think in 2 years or 3 years, start having one by one or two at a time. But I do think that they wanted 24 teams. I did see the same thing with Bonilla saying that the idea is to have 24 teams, and I'm like, is it going to be multipropiedad? Because you know how Orlegui has.
Most likely.
They have Tampico Madero. Caliente has Dorados. Of course, you got Zacatecas from Grupo Pachuca. So are they going to allow for them to be 3 teams in first for multipropiedades, or strictly only teams like, I don't know, UDG, or like what other teams could actually go come to first division?
Even from the teams that you're saying, like at least 3 teams that were the more economically, like I guess that we're doing better, they belong to multipropiedad, which is like, which one was it? Like the Pico Madero, Mineros de Zacatecas, and Dorados too.
Dorados Caliente, yeah. because Caliente has Querétaro and Tijuana. So Dorados is another team.
Yeah, even those three right there.
Well, that's the thing. Like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen in with la multipropiedad? Because I think
at least for now, at least for now, according to them, by the first week of June, they're gonna have an announcement and say when the apertura is gonna start. So we'll see.
I thought second week of July. Didn't they already say second week of July? This is why they postponed.
Well, they keep changing everything, so it could be that.
Yeah,
that was the crazy thing that I heard, because usually
that would be completely on schedule technically.
Yeah, technically.
Had the Clausura finished all in the time frame that it was supposed to, then they would start the next apertura in the second week of July. That's like
second week of July.
Normal.
That's normal. Okay, I think usually it's like the third week, but I think this time, even if it's second or third, maybe it's because it will be more teams. I don't know how the schedule. I think what they're going to probably announce in June for sure is what teams are going to actually be in. Announce Mazatlan's. I think, and Kari, honestly, I think they're not going to be called Delfines. I think that's just what we were.
I was laughing just at the logo because it was a dolphin holding guns, which is not funny.
No, but
that was, it's just
kind of like, was like a fan.
Yeah,
that was definitely a fan.
No.
I gotta
we don't have to pretend.
I'm like, hey man, it's way more dangerous in Culiacán than Mazatlan. No, I'm playing. But what I do think
it is.
Oh, it is. That's why I'm like, how come Dorados doesn't have machine guns? Why they gotta be Mazatlan?
But I mean, I think they are going to be called Delfines, no? I mean, they have the Twitter profile and everything already.
I don't get it. Like, why Delfines? Why?
I mean, Delfines is just as good as Dorados. I mean, if they can have a Dorados, which is a pretty lame fish, you know, they can have the Delfines.
But what I heard is it's not going to be Delfines. It's going to be hard to register.
Who comes up with these names? Like, don't they have a better marketing team to select a name?
That's what I'm saying. What I heard from John Sutcliffe and people from ESPN, they were saying that it wasn't going to be called Delfines because to register the freaking dolphin, I think even Inter de Milan got in trouble because even the name Inter is already registered by Inter de Milan. Something like that around the lines. You know, there's a lot of teams called Dolphins, and I think they're working on the name. I don't think that's good because I did see the Twitter profile, but
wait,
I don't think that's going to be the name.
If it's already registered, how come David Beckham was able to get Inter Miami?
He probably had to pay a lot of money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Man.
It's like I can't call like a team like the Raiders of Los Olivos or whatever. Like you could, but not like in first division stuff.
You know, like, Morelia and Mazatlan are both M cities. They could just be the Monarcas de Mazatlan.
Monarcas de Mazatlan. There you
and be like and have like a big FU to the whole fan base in Morelia. You know,
you heard it here. Monarcas de Mazatlan.
Keep the colors. Keep the name.
Name, color, shield, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Now I understand why everyone just plays it safe in Mexico and they just go with Atletico something.
Or FC. I can't like if they start off with that, but
yeah, or Mazatlan FC. Yeah.
Oh no, that would be so whack. No.
Real Mazatlan.
Mazatlan United.
Yeah.
You were that was better.
Mazatlan Unidos.
Oh God.
Todos juntos por un sueño.
Los Chapo Guzmanes.
Right? Would you have to come up with a couple of names or run a poll and see what sounds more appealing to people?
Chapo Guzmanes. Just put Chapo Guzman's face.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's gonna be harder. I don't know what they're gonna come up with, but I did hear from unless John Sutcliffe is wrong, which is almost sometimes he is, but sometimes he isn't. He did say
it's like 50-50.
Yeah, he did. Because sometimes he is wrong, especially when it comes to like NFL news. But he did say that they're not going to register. That's just a rumor out there.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you also have the logo with the guns, but come on.
No, that's like too much.
But
that's too much.
It looks like very cheap clip art. But anyways,
I vote for Sicarios. Sicarios de Mazatlán. Yeah.
Ouch.
We are at the mark of an hour and 30 minutes, so I think it's time for us to leave you guys the rest of your night.
Licho wrote something cool. He wrote.
But shout out to everybody that was on, our good friend In Good Company is always coming in clutch, as well as MacPack. Shout out to Raul Guerrero, Soy del Verde, and we have, it's not coming on my screen, but Licho, he said, I haven't seen you in a while. Gosh, this epidemic sucks. So shout out to him too for joining.
We all agree.
Thank you for joining, Licho.
Yeah, so this was kind of our update regarding what's going on in Liga MX with the cancellation of Clausura, kind of talking about León at the moment and kind of what possibilities would happen with the players on the team. Oops. And talking about the sadness of
that was an accident.
Morelia and what's going on with that, and also Mazatlan and its new team. But we'll see what we can come up with next week. Maybe now that we have Javier, we can we can watch a couple of other highlights of other games. So that should be fun, right, Javier?
Of course, sure, 100%.
Okay, so Louis, Javier, Carlos, and Jose, thank you guys, and we'll see everybody next week.
Thank you guys.